I'm not sure why, I just had to have a coach gun. Maybe because it looks good in the gun case. I settled on this one. It's marketed by CZ in Czechoslovakia, but I think it's actually made in Turkey. This one has hammers, which is something that I wanted, not only because it's cool looking, but because it allows you to leave the gun loaded but uncocked if you're using it for home defense. This one also has a tang safety. It has an ivory or ivory substitute front sight. The engraving, while minimal, is reportedly done in Turkey by hand. I can neither confirm nor deny that. I don't know if I've got my terminology correct here, but I believe these are called extractors as opposed to ejectors. In other words, the shells don't pop out of the gun and fall on the ground. You've either got to shake them out or pull them out by hand. Here's a reasonably good photo of the side of the gun, which shows a case hardening. As I understand it, the barrel on this gun is cylinder, which means it doesn't have any choke in it at all. Don't expect any choke wrenches or choke tubes to come with the gun, even though the little plastic case has cutouts for them, because it simply doesn't have the fittings for it. The chamber will accept 3-inch or 2 3/4-inch shells. With that cylinder barrel, you should be able to shoot slugs through it with no problem, although I'm not an expert. I was hoping that when the release was thrown, the barrels would automatically pop open, enabling you to reload the gun quicker and easier. However, it was a little stiff. Maybe a little break free or just constant use will free it up a little bit and that'll happen, but right now it doesn't. The gun also has a tang safety in addition to the hammers. So with the hammers down and the tang safety on, the gun cannot be fired even if it's loaded. This might be a plus for those who want to keep a double barrel for home protection. Notice that with the gun uncocked, the hammers do not touch the firing pins, adding an additional degree of safety in case the gun was dropped. I started my range testing with number 7.5 birdshot, and that's what the target looks like after 2 of those. From about 20 yards away, I would say. The next test was to try some double-aught buck. These were 3-inch magnums, and you can tell from the recoil that these weren't a lot of fun to shoot. I haven't checked my arm for bruises, but I'm sure I've got some. Now, I'm no wuss when it comes to recoil, but with that short barrel and no recoil pad, it's a little much. I was a little surprised that only about 8 of the pellets went into the target, and I think those double-aught buck magnums had 15 pellets in them. And I was only shooting from, maybe 20 yards away. This is a close-range machine. Well, there's both barrels. A double-aught buckshot. That would hurt. Now here's a rifle slug from about 25 yards, maybe 20. See if I can hit it. Well, that hurt. golly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to load one of these slugs and one double aught buck. And the front trigger is the right barrel, I believe. So I'm going to put the slug in the left barrel and the double aught buck in the right. And we'll pretend that that's a bad old engine coming at me with a spear. See how we do. Now, I've learned not to put my finger right up against the back of this trigger guard. Where it comes back, it hits my finger. So get those fingers away from there. I'm going to blow my hat off. So there's a slug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know how many pellets are in there. It'll probably tell me here in a minute. Alright. There's a slug. Double aught buck. Now I looked at that double aught buck and they say there's 15 pellets in each one of those. So 15. I think I said I hit it 8 times at 25 yards, so pretty good spread on that double aught. And then there's 2 barrels of birdshot in there. So pretty formidable weapon at close range. Cylinder barrels, I believe. They're both the same thing. So, can expect quite a bit of spread, I would assume, on these things. I'm going to try one more 3-inch buckshot and see if I can get them all in the target and see how close I have to get all 15 pellets. And admittedly, this is a close range weapon, but I wouldn't want to shoot this buckshot in a hostage situation because I'd end up killing everybody in the county. God damn. Knocked my hat off. That was only 15 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I still didn't get all 15 of them in there. I said 15 yards is more like 10 or 12. So, I learned something. Double aught buckshot out of this gun is a close range affair. Real close range. Okay, we'll show you some of the previous pictures while I talk a little bit about the gun. Now, I'm not a shotgun expert by any stretch of the imagination. As a matter of fact, this was probably the first time that I shot any double aught buck or slugs. Usually it's involved bird hunting and bird shot or pheasant loads or something like that. Pros to the gun is it looks cool, it's easy to maneuver, it's safer than a hammerless gun from the standpoint that you can leave the gun uncocked and loaded. It'll be of particular interest to the cowboy action crowd. I think it's legal for that. It's a home defense gun if you're not planning on having more than 2 attackers or practice a little bit and practice reloading this thing. I think you do quite well with it. and it's good for just screwing around and blowing stuff up. The cons to it is it kicks like holy hell, especially with those 3-inch magnums in there. It's not much good as a bird gun, I wouldn't think, although, like I said, I'm no expert, simply because it's got those cylinder barrels and your range would be severely limited. The cost of this gun is about $900 brand new, and for a firearm of this quality, I'd say that's pretty reasonable. Now, you can find these things anywhere from $250 to whatever you want to pay for one, other models and makes and so forth and so on. But it appears as though for what this is intended for, that's a fair price. Now, I don't make any money off making these videos. This is just for information. I don't even have any ads attached to my screen. I don't get anything from YouTube. So if you like it and it was informative, then good on you. If you didn't like it and think it's total horse manure, then keep it to yourself. Thanks.